This is a KMVT sports presentation.
St Francis High School. KMVT Sports proudly brings to you West Catholic Athletic League Volleyball. And this afternoon, the Lancers, see there on your screen right now, they take on the St Ignatius Wildcats from San Francisco. The Lancers coming in with an overall record of 7-1. They are 1-0 in league play as they have won the toss and they will serve first. The Wildcats, on the other hand, coming in tough season. They are 0-8 on the year, and this is their first league game of the 2001 season. Give us an opportunity right now to run down the starting lineups for you as we are just about getting ready to serve here, as the Lancers will serve first. And we are underway. And a net violation, and that will be a side out. That was number 15. That was Passion, ready. And the Wildcats now with the serve. Back row, side out to the Lancers. Here are the starting lineups for St. Ignatius. Number 1, Dan Mazzara. Number 2, Kevin Lynch. Number 6, Brendan Millay. Number 12, Lauren Kendalina. Number 14, Joey Samut. And number 15, Curtis Chan. And for the Lancers, we have number 5, John Kraft. Number 6, Andrew Fuller. Number 11, G. Yoshi. Number 14, Tim if I pronounce this correctly, Laferrieri. Number 15, Evan Passion, and number 16, Jeff Harris. Two 2-0 is our score here. 3-0 now as the Lancers pull out to a 3-0 lead. We are here in game number 1. And there's a shot. That was by Evan Passion, sophomore middle blocker. And it is now 4-0 in favor of the Lancers. St. Francis mentioned off to a good start as there is a service error. And that will be a side out for the Wildcats. St. Francis this year opened up at the Aptos Invitational, where they came away winners. There is a side out. John Gilbert into the match now, serving. Lancers up 4-0, and there is a side out to the Wildcats. Lancers going 5-1 in the Aptos Invitational, defeating Aptos Homestead San Benito. And again, then Aptos in the semifinal. The only loss in pool play was to the boys powerhouse from Santa Cruz, the team from Mount Madonna. Left-handed shot, and number 6, Andrew Fuller. Side out to the Lancers, still 4-0. Lancers in control here in game number 1. There's a slam. That was number 2. That was Kevin Lynch, 6'3" middle blocker. And another side out to the Wildcats. And going back to serve is number 14, Joey Samut. Lazarus Sargenides along with you here on KMVT. Glad you can join us here. Our first Spring Boys Volleyball match of the year. And there's a side out right back to the Lancers. Rack up a kill for Andrew Fisher. Still 4-0 here early in game number 1. We have a double hit violation, a point for the Lancers, and the Lancers increase their lead to 5-0. Number 16, Jeff Harris. Serving, and it is now 6-0 in favor of the Lancers. Fuller once again. Block in the middle. Lancers keep it alive. Off the top of the net. Lancers free ball it over. Set to the outside. Double block. That was Fuller and Fisher. Nice job by the Lancers. It is now 7-0. Lancers in complete control here in game number 1. From the back row. Set. And that will almost go out of bounds, but nice job by the Wildcats keeping it alive, but that shot outside and long. Number 21, Theo Mitchell. It is now 8-0, St. Francis. And a timeout called by the Wildcats. As we have this opportunity, it is 9-0 in favor of St. Francis. Get a chance to run down the rest of the schedule that the Lancers have gone through. There you see a shot of Liz Locke there in red. She is the second-year coach for the Lancers. A volleyball standout in her own right here at St. Francis. Played for Dave Gamblin. Now she has taken over the volleyball duties for the boys. Last year, finishing in second place in the WCAL. Made it all the way to the CCS quarterfinals. As we have a whistle here, Stan Gaxiola is our head referee this afternoon. Longtime CCS official, and his partner down below is Lily Morera. And another point for the Lancers, and it is now 10-0 in favor of St. Francis. And that is a side out. (10-0) as we have a substitution. And that shot goes long. Another side out to the Lancers. Yoshi serving. 10-0. St. Francis make that 11-0 Lancers. As Yoshi back to serve. That is outside and long, and we are at 12-0. Blocked, and Fuller that time. Number 6, Andrew Fuller, not able to get a good control on the ball. Side out goes back to the Wildcats. Scoreboard says 11-0. I must have lost a point somewhere along the line. I thought the Lancers had themselves 12. But we'll go with the scoreboard. It is 11-0 and another side out for the Lancers, and Fuller back to serve. St. Francis now make that 12-0, as that was, well, I didn't see who that actually was getting the point there, but 12-0 Lancers. St. Francis, a junior heavy team. Only one senior on the team last year. And there's a side out. 12-0 St. Francis, as St. Ignatius looking for their first point of game number 1. Glad you can join us here on KMVT. And the shot is down. That is Passion. Nice job by the Lancers with their setting. Another substitution coming in for the Lancers. And let's see, coming in to serve is number 14, Tim Lefieri. I'm sure I pronounced his name wrong again. There's another net violation. Side out back to St. Ignatius. And take it from me, I know with a name like Sargenides, I've had my name mispronounced many a time. Ball being bounced around. That'll be free balled over. Lancers to set it up again. Outside, that is long. And there we see a shot of second-year coach Karen Coda for the Wildcats. Tough season. Actually, the shot must have been some sort of violation. The Lancers have the ball right back. 12-0 St. Francis here in game number 1. And that ball long, number 15, Curtis Chen. And timeout called by St. Ignatius. 13-0 Lancers here in game number 1. Nice crowd on hand here at St. Francis. Game number 1, 13-0 St. Francis. And that goes off the antenna. Point Lancers. We are at game point. And John Gilbert serving long. Service error number 2 for the Lancers. A 14-0. St. Ignatius also a man down as they have a player injured. Tim Chang out with a broken wrist. 14-0 St. Francis. Game point number 2. And back to serve is number 5, John Kraft, the setter for the Lancers. And that is long, and that is game point. 15-0. The Lancers take it here in game number 1. Game number 2 coming up shortly here on KMVT Channel 15. Back here at St. Francis, that score is correct. St. Francis 15, St. Ignatius nothing in game number 1. And also looking is the JV team for St. Ignatius. They had a tough 2-1 loss to the JV team of the Lancers. Lancers, as we mentioned, coming in with a 7-1 record after going 5-1 and winning the Aptos Invitational, defeating Archbishop Mitty in the championship in a 1-game winner-take-all. That was 15-13 your score. They ended up with a 3-0 win against Willow Glen, and they opened up league last Thursday against Sarah, also with a 3-0 win. Lancers currently in second place behind the Bellarmine Bells. No surprise, the Bells 3-0 in the WCAL. The Lancers 1-0 and looking to pull within a half a game of Bellarmine. St. Ignatius to serve here in game number 2. Looking for their first point of the game, and a nice reverse there by Kraft. We'll get a chance to look at that on replay. Nice job. Kind of reminded me of Haley Anderson from the girls team. Great reverse slam. And Kraft getting the side out for the Lancers, but the Lancers giving up the ball right back. That one down, number 3. And that is Adam Heinz, one of the co-captains, along with Jeff Harris. Heinz didn't start in the first game, but starting here in game number 2. Jeff Harris, the other co-captain, who was the setter last year, with his increased play, good play. There's a good shot of him right there. He moved to outside hitter position, and the Lancers have moved John Kraft to the setter position. So a jump serve by the Lancers off the touch there, and a side out. That was number 2, Kevin Lynch. So the Lancers up 1-0 here in game number 2, and first point of the game as the Wildcats finally get one on the scoreboard. And that is off the player in the back row. That is Heinz once again. And a side out to the Lancers. So 1-1 here in game number 2. Here's Harris, the set, and number 4 puts it away. Josh Muella gives the Lancers the lead at 2-1. Shot long by number 21, Theo Mitchell, for the Wildcats. 3-1 now in favor of the Lancers. Off the touch. That was off of Muella. And substitutions now for the Wildcats. Number 7, Chris Ballestieri coming in to serve for St. Ignatius. 5:30 start here. Odd time to start. Usually the girls start at 7 o'clock. Got a whistle. And that will be a side out to the Lancers. Score remains at 3-1. Jump serve. And we have a 2-hit call. And St. Francis runs their lead to 4-1. Another jump serve. That is off the top of the net. And that is a side out. More another serving substitution now for St. Ignatius, as Cesar Abdul Masai. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. Coming in to serve. Well, I'm having a tough time with all these names. Harris once again. And another side out. (5-1) now, as number 9, Andrew Nurse, I believe that's right. Boy, these guys are going to have to forgive me for mispronouncing everyone's name here. But Andrew gives the Lancers a 6-1 lead. Outside, Jeff Harris. Can't stop that. 7-1 Lancers. And an ace. 8-1. And that clips the net. Another service error, number 4 for the Lancers. And a substitution now for St. Ignatius. Coming in to serve as number 12, Lauren. And there he is. Lauren Catalina. Outside blocked. Lancers keep it alive. Jeff Harris. That's kept alive. Tip from the outside. Kraft sets to Harris once again. And a good dig in the back row, but that will be outside the antenna. Jeff Harris once, twice, but not denied a third time. Lancers up 8-1 here in game number 2. Harris again. Saved in the back row. Going to Harris once again. Outside, that is, I believe that's long. Shot is long. Substitution coming in for the Wildcats. Number 14, Joey Samut coming in. Playing front row. That was Heinz. Heinz again. Kraft in the middle. And it's down. Number 10, Drew Brown. One of the few seniors on the St. Francis team. Only 6 seniors for the Lancers this year. And Brown once again. Point for the Lancers. 9-1 St. Francis. Harris serving. That is through the double block. And another substitution coming in. Number 2, Kevin Lynch, coming in now for the Wildcats. Outside the Heinz, nails the corner. And quickly side out once again to the Lancers. St. Francis going to have themselves a tough match coming up in a couple of days. They have to travel to Archbishop Mitty. As in the ball game now, Barry Ivers. Jump serve. Joust into the net, and a point for the Lancers. 10-1 now as Ivers to serve again. Looping serve. Save there by Ivers, and will be bumped over. Double hit call on St. Ignatius. St. Francis picks up point number 11. No timeout yet called by Karen Coda. She called a timeout at 10-0 in game 1. Dink, good save by Ivers, but that goes outside the antenna. Ivers, nice dig there, but to no avail. 11-1 St. Francis. You know, Mitty's going to have some ideas of revenge after losing the championship game of the Aptos tournament. Violation. I believe that was a point for St. Ignatius. And that is down. That is number 4, Josh Muella. Side out to the Lancers as Muella thought he was getting substituted there, but why substitute the guy that's doing well? Tipped over by Mitchell. Kraft set to the outside, and that is down. Down by Heinz, but it was a net violation called on St. Ignatius by Stan Gaxiola, our head ref. Lancers 12-2 in game number 2. Having it in cruise control. That bump is off the touch. And a side out to St. Ignatius. And the big showdown against the Bells. First of a home and home for the Lancers will be on March the 27th. And Heinz once again, and he will go back to serve. League will pretty much come down between St. Francis, Mitty, and Bellarmine. Bellarmine, of course, winning the WCAL every year and defending CCS champions, as that shot by Harris unable to be stopped. 13-2 now in favor of St. Francis. And that is an ace, 14-2. And Heinz will serve for game number 2. And a jump serve that loops over but doesn't even hit the net. I guess if this was basketball, everyone would be yelling air ball. But seeing in volleyball, haven't heard anything like that in volleyball before. Setamuela, and that is a sign out for the Lancers as it went off of a Wildcat. Bounced off his face. And substitutions for the Lancers as 9 and 10 coming back into the game. That is Andrew Norse and Drew Brown. 14-2. Game point number 2 for St. Francis. Harris keeps it alive. Back to Harris. Off the net and down. And the Lancers winning game number 2, 15-2. Lancers winning game 1 and game 2 in relatively quick fashion. Game 3 coming up shortly here on KMVT. You're watching West Catholic Athletic League Boys Volleyball on KMVT Channel 15. Back here at St. Francis, Lancers winning game 1, 15-love, and game 2, 15-2. Got a trivia question for you here. As those of you who have been watching girls volleyball, there is a difference in one set of rules at least, and that is the height of the net. And do you know how much higher from the girls is the net set for boys volleyball? So once again, our trivia question: how much higher is the boys net set from the girls? As I had a chance to speak with Liz Locke there in the middle of your screen, asking her, have you ever played with the higher net, playing either co-ed or playing against the boys during practice? And she goes, oh yeah, there's a big difference, as I have to play back row. Boys able to get up a little bit higher, so they set the net higher. So once again, our trivia question is, how much higher is the boys' net set than the girls? And we'll give you that answer later here in game number 3. One here in game number 3. Lancers serving. And a side out to St. Ignatius. Signal there by Karen Cota, telling her team, let's get it together. Ball a little bit long by Heinz. St. Ignatius with a 2-1 lead. And make that 3-1. Curtis Chen giving St. Ignatius their first 2-point lead of the match. Outside, Hines. St. Ignatius somehow keeps it alive. Hines again finds the back corner. And a side out to St. Francis. Barry Ivers back to serve for St. Francis, coming into the game now. Lancers down 1-3. Ivers almost in self-defense there. And another side out to the Wildcats. These two teams will meet again in April 5th up in the city. As Kraft, ball off of Kraft, and the Lancers find themselves down 5-1. And Liz Locke taking one of her 2 timeouts that she is allowed in the game. 2 timeouts per game. And while we have this chance, why don't we tell you about our station website for all the information you need to know about what games will be aired, when and what time, and future games that will be aired. You can check our website at www.mvkmvt.org. That's www.mvkmvt.org. So after the match, go to the website and see what other games might be playing here on KMVT. So the Lancers down 5-1. Set for Muella. Saved, and a left-handed shot. That was tried there by Samut. But that's a point for the Lancers. It's 5-2. Harris in the back row, saves it. Harris again, long shot, goes, it's in! But we might have an overrule. A point has already been given for the Lancers, but I think they're going to have to take that one off the scoreboard. It is a side out. Scoreboard still has it 5-3, but I believe it's 5-2. There's Hines getting the side out right back. So we're going to go with the 5-2 score. That is off the net. Hines rushing his serve a bit, and you can see him pounding on his chest. Yep, that's my fault. And another side out, and the scoreboard has changed back to 2, so we are all on the same page. 5-2 SI here in game 3. But where it counts the most, the Lancers lead in overall games at 2-0. Left-handed shot, that is Fuller. Another side out. Number 2, Mike Garibaldi, coming to serve now for St. Francis. And that is a definite net violation, but I think a double hit was called. Nonetheless, a point for the Lancers. It is now 5-3 in favor of SI. The Lancers coming back. Tipped, and it finds a hole. Number 6, Brendan Millay. Brendan Millay for the Wildcats gets the side out. Catalini to serve for the Wildcats. Up 5-3. Fuller again. Side out. Left-handed shot. And he's going to take a seat. High fives around for the good job. 3 serving 5 in game number 3. Tip kept alive. Jeff Harris, back row saved. And that will fall outside. Point Lancers. And an ace. We are tied at 5. So the 4-point lead for the Wildcats has disappeared. John Gilbert serving 2 points in a row. Looking to give the Lancers the lead, but a side out. No, that must have been out. 6-5 in favor of the Lancers. So that's 5 points in a row. Taking the back row by Heinz. Can't come up with that. Now it's a side out for St. Ignatius. Glad you can join us here on KMVT. Boys volleyball, as Passion had himself a good game in game number 1. Now in game number 3, giving the Lancers the side out. Lazarus Sargentidis along with our cameramen Brent Stone and Robin Frank, bringing you the action here from the Rascob. And there's a side out right back to the Wildcats. Substitution now. Number 5, Brian Gilmore, coming into the game now, front row. Tip, but a lift call on Gilmore. He's saying, I thought I hit it down, but Stan Gaxiola, one of the top officials in volleyball here in this area, making the quick call. 6-5 Lancers. Jump serve. See a lot more jump serves in boys volleyball than you do with the girls. And the ping pong going back and forth, and a lift called on St. Ignatius. 7-5 Lancers. Ball being knocked around like a pinball. But no tilt called for the Lancers. St. Francis now on a 6-0 run. Heinz, can he make it 7? No, no touch called. And a side out. Though a point was, it must have been a touch. They've given a point to the Lancers. It is now 8-5. I didn't see a touch. But the serve going to the Lancers. Nice job of the Wildcats playing it off the net. And a quick set slam. Heinz blocked, but it goes out. Point Lancers, 9-5. An 8-0 run. Heinz doing a good job trying to go through the double block. Ivers serving again. Jump serve working well for him. Heinz again, double block, but hits the antenna. And that is a side out for the Lancers, for the Wildcats. So 9-5, St. Francis, SI trying to break an 8-0 run by the Lancers here. Lancers, nice dink over the top. Number 4, John Muella. Muella getting the side out back for St. Francis. John Kraft serving. Lancers 6 points away of wrapping this one up. Harris coming from the back row, but an under the net call on John Kraft. Liz Locke asking her assistant, Jerry Zaplala. Okay, I'll get it right. I thought I was doing well with the names. Well, back to the action. Possession goes right back to the Lancers. Muella once again. More jump serves by the Lancers. Looking for point number 10. Double block. Kept alive. Muella keeps that alive. Goes off the rafter. Theo Mitchell, number 21 for St. Ignatius. Theo Mitchell doing it all on that point for St. Ignatius. Still 5-9. SI serving. Ivers sets it, but free balled over. Mitchell again can't get it through the double block. Mitchell just bumps it over. Outside for Fuller. Fuller too long. And that is point number 6 for St. Ignatius. Breaks an 8-0 run by the Lancers. But a net violation. Ball right back to St. Francis. Karen Cota, along with assistant coach Louis Baliao, looking on. Their team down by 3 here in game number 2. Outside the Harris, off the block, but a 2-hit call, and the Lancers up now 10-6. Covering boys volleyball now for about 4 years, and quality of play, I must say, has improved as more club teams for the boys. Play has gotten better. Side outs were more frequent than points. There were more side outs between points and points. Jeff Harris. Once again, side out to the Lancers. As Andrew Fuller will take a seat. And John Gilbert to serve. 2-hit call. That is now 11-7 in favor of St. Francis. And the ace. 12-7. Wow, we got to get in our trivia question before the Lancers put this one away. Try to squeeze it in here. It's 12-7, St. Francis. And over the net violation, and that'll be a side out. Our trivia question was, how much higher from the girls is the net for boys volleyball? As the net is set higher. And we'll give you that answer right after this exchange of points as Jeff Harris knocks it wide. And your answer, the boys' net is 7.5 inches higher. The boys' net at 7 feet, 11 5/8 inches. And the girls, they're set at 7 feet, 4 1/8. So a 7.5-inch difference. And there's passion with the kill. You can imagine these guys are jumping 7.5 inches higher than the girls' net. Can you imagine how many more slams these guys might get? 12 serving 8 in game number 3. Lancers need 3 points to wrap this one up, make that 2 points. As St. Francis inches ever so closely. Lancers keeping it alive. And Gilbert did it once, couldn't do it a second time. (13-8). St. Francis looking to close this one out. Shot is long and a point. 13-9 now in favor of the Lancers. SI jumped out to a 5-1 lead here in game 3. And that one hit right into the net. Side out to the Lancers as substitutions. Ivers and Muella. And Ivers will go back. It was Ivers who was serving when the Lancers were down 1-5. And the Lancers then went on an 8-0 run. And now 2 points away from the match. Harris from the back row, a laser that is off the rafters but somehow saved, and it comes over and through. Well, there's a highlight for you. Number 5, Brian Gilmore. Well, this definitely deserves a replay right here. And look at this laser. And the Wildcats just keeping it alive up like a backhanded fish shot, drops through. And a side out for the Lancers. More substitutions now as the big man Andrew Fuller will come back in. And Kraft back to serve. Mentioned how St. Francis will play at Mitty in a couple of days. Over the weekend, they will be at the Leland tournament. Then they'll come back to host Bellarmine and Sacred Heart next week. And that point is down. And the Lancers now are at match point, 14-9. Scoreboard got ahead of itself, went to 15-9. A 14 serving 9. And ball can't be saved that time by Kraft. SI stays alive in the match. Muella, the tip. Nice job by Mazzara to save that. Ball is down and a point for SI. So St. Ignatius, who struggled and only scored 2 points in the first 2 games, has scored 10 here in game number 3. And that is long, side out. There's your score, 14-10 in favor of the Lancers. Match point number 2. Jump serve again. Lancers looking to close it out. Off the touch, Ivers back row for the win, and it's down. Jeff Harris and the Lancers pull off the win. Your final score in 3, 15-0, 15-2, and 15-10. St. Francis improves now to 8-1 on the year and 2-0 in the WCAL, while the Wildcats, this being their first league game, fall to 0-1 in league and 0-9 on the season. So that will do it for us here for KMVT. I'd like to thank you for joining us. I'm Riley Sargentidis. I'd like to thank our cameraman,